In this video, we'll take a look at the shaft support. This is going to be a 3-view drawing. So a top, a front, a right side. We'll also do the isometric here. So find that packet and drawing. Open up CAD borders. Another thing you're going to need to do is determine your overall height, width, and depth. So overall height, how tall the part is, overall width, and then the depth, in this case 3.5. So these three numbers I have circled. That's what's going to help you set up the drawing using kind of like an L shape and then offsetting the boxes. And then once you get the boxes set up, the three views will fit inside. We're also going to set up a 45-degree miter line to help us project the top to the side and then the side up to the top. So now that I have the height, width, and depth, I'm going to use those as my offsets. So first you want to start with the construction line. I like to go about an inch over, inch up roughly from the 0, 0 here. So here I go over, 16 is plenty. You just don't want to make those lines too small. It's better to make them longer. And then here I'm going to go up, 10 is fine. So I kind of have my L shape. That's going to be the lower left-hand corner of this drawing. And now I'm going to do offset. So I'm going to do offset. The height will be 2. Width is 6. I also got to do a 1-inch space in between the views, and then 3.5 for the depth. Okay, so for the height, I'm going to do O enter for offset, 2 enter for the height. Offset that up. Now I'll do the width, which is 6. Now I need to do my 1-inch space in between the views. So offset 1 inch, this one up, 1 inch over. After you do the 1-inch spacing, you'll notice you'll have a square. The upper right corner of that square is where you want to do the 45-degree miter line to help you project the views. So again, it doesn't really matter how long this one is, just don't make it really short. I'm going to hit tab, 45. We want it to be exactly 45 degrees. My last offset is going to be my depth, which was 3.5. So offset 3.5. All right, so now I have my top view, my front view, and my right side view. It's a good habit just to double check the measurements. Okay, this should be 6. That should be a 1-inch space. This should be 2, which is good. We want to double check this right side view. So that's 3.5. That looks good. This is 2. So just double check your measurements. Another thing I like to do is hatch the spacing just to help me visualize that that's just a 1-inch space. So you can use your hatch tool by clicking that or H enter. And then I just click in here and down there as well, and then hit enter. So now the 1-inch spacing is hatched in, so I can easily see my 3 views here. And now you just got to start, drawing the insides. Again, try to use offset. Like for instance, this base is a 1/2 inch thick. That's the same in the right side view as well. So if I do an offset, I'll set it to 0.5. I'll offset this bottom up a 1/2 inch. So now I have the base not only in the front view, but the right side view. And if I want really quick, I can switch to visible, use my rectangle tool, and I'll just trace over the base here, hit enter, and then trace over the base there. So that's my 1/2 inch base in the front and side. Now for the top view, I could kind of do the same thing. I'm going to trace over this whole thing. And the reason why is I can easily get to, let's make sure that goes all the way down. I can easily get to the center points. Like I can get to the midpoint. I can get to the midpoint here and draw a line down. Actually, I have to redo this rectangle because I don't think I got it perfect. Rectangle, let's make sure that's from here to there. So make sure you're zooming in, you're getting the right points. And the reason, again, I did that is I can now get midpoint. Midpoint here, go straight down. And midpoint here and go straight across. So that'll be the center of all those circles. So I have 3 circles, 1, 2, 3. The big one is going to be 3.5 diameter. The middle one is 2 3/4 diameter, and the small one is 1.75 diameter. So I go back here, so I got to make sure I'm using a diameter circle. Let's do the inside one, which is 3.5. The next one is 2.75. And then the third one is 1.75. So those are my three circles. The outside one some of it will be trimmed. The next thing I want to do is let's get the thickness of this middle part, which is 1.5 inches. So I already have the middle. I drew that line all the way across. And if it's 1.5 inches total, what I could do is offset that line up and down half of 1.5, which would be 0.75. So I can go up 0.75 and then down 0.75. And that gets me the middle of that top view. So I'm going to do offset 0.75. This line I'm going to go up, click this line, go down. And now for here, I want to trim. So let's do it. Actually, I'm going to delete that rectangle I drew. Now I'm going to do TR enter. I will keep that big circle, hit enter, and I'm going to get rid of these lines on the inside. Now I'm going to do another trim, TR enter, and I will keep these lines here. 2, 3, 4, hit enter, and I can get rid of the big circle. Now I don't actually need these lines anymore either. Get rid of this, so you can kind of see how it's starting to shape up here. And another dimension, I got to get these center points. It's 2.25. From the middle over to this center point is 2.25. So let's do that. So I'm going to go here. Now for that, I'm just going to draw a line. I'm going to get the midpoint. I'm going to go this way, 2.25. And same thing on the other side. Midpoint here, or center point, and go this way, 2.25. Circles, there's two of them. The inside smaller circle is 0.5156 diameter. The larger circle, you find a dimension down here. It's 1 inch. And that's also a diameter. And they're both the same. There's two of them. So let's do a diameter. Let's do the small one. 0.5156 diameter. And the big one, 1 inch diameter. Now I could do this too. I could just select both of them. Use my copy tool. Base point would be the center or the end point there, and just move them over to here. So you don't have to redo them. I can draw a line now to connect this to here, and to connect this to here. So you're going to delete these lines. You can kind of see where we're at. The only thing left in this top view is the corners, which you're going to use the fillet tool. 1/4 inch on the 2 outside or the 4 outsides, and the inside corners are 1/2 inch. And you're going to use the fillet tool. So F enter, R enter, 0.5 is for the insides. Hit enter, it'll remember. And the outsides are 1/4 inch, so I'm going to switch it. So F enter, R enter for radius, and these are 0.25. Okay, hit enter. There we go. My top view is done other than center marks and dimensions. Now for this front view, what I could do is I can just project down. Like I can just grab a line, project down like that. It's going to match up with this. That's going to match up with this. The two hidden lines are the inside circle. Not the two holes here, I can project them down as well. I'm going to go back here. We'll start with the visible. Let's do the bigger of the circles, which would be the 2 3/4. It's going to go down to here, perpendicular. And then the right side of it. Then I got to switch to hidden line for the inside circle. Now that one goes all the way through to the bottom. And then I can also do actually I could leave it on hidden line. I'll do the inside circle here. Now I'll switch it to visible. And I'm going to do the outside circle. Now that one only goes to the top. And obviously you would do the same thing with these holes and bring them down. Now I can trim a little bit. I don't need all these lines. I'm going to do trim. Let's keep the top of this. Enter. And let's get rid of all these lines to clean it up a little bit. But you see where they just came from. All right, and I got to trim even a little bit more now. I need to trim, actually, the thickness too. The 1 inch hole, it goes up a little bit, 1/8 of an inch. So we have that little 1/8 inch measurement here. Let's do that really quick and offset it. So, or I don't have to offset. I guess I could just do this. I can go in here, grab a line, just go up 0.125. And go over 1 inch and then back down. Now when I trim, I'll keep that 1/8 inch line and get rid of these. And then obviously I would do the same thing on this other side with that one. The right side, a lot of projecting again. I can do, maybe I'll do construction line here to start. Since this one, I'm going to project over and down. So I need to get this little shape here. That's this part. So I'm going to bring that over and then down. And then same thing, the circles. I got to bring the circles over and down. So if I go back here, I'm going to use construction line. So maybe I'll start with the circles. We'll do this one here where it hits the 45, the intersection. That's where you want to draw the line down. And the bottom one, again, bring it over where it hits the intersection point. You bring that one down. So again, you don't have to do any measuring. This is, again, it's called orthographic projection. Kind of does the work for you. Grab another line. We're going to do the inside circle, which eventually we'll put that on a hidden line layer. That one goes all the way down to the bottom. And the inside circle here to where it hits the intersection point of the 45 and bring that one down. So if I want now, I could do this. I can switch to visible layer, grab a line. I can go a line. I can go draw up, over, and down. And then the inside one is hidden. So I click hidden line, and I just draw a hidden line from here. I go down, and then here I go down. And if you want really quick to kind of see where you're at with this, turn off the construction lines every once in a while. See here, it looks like I have to go back to visible. I got to connect the top of this. So you can kind of see where we're at here. So the only thing really left is this inside part, which is this part of it. Let's turn our construction lines back on. All right, so I'm going to go construction line, grab a line. I'm going to go from this point where it hits here and then go down. And then same thing for the bottom point here. Bring that over and then down. And then I can switch to visible. And I'm going to draw this up, line up, and this line up. So those lines that I just drew are right here on the packet. This line right here I just got, and this line I got. Now I got to get the hidden lines and the 1 inch part up top too. So the two hidden lines, a couple different ways you could do it. You could project it down. Like I could project this over and down, project this over and down, project the two hidden lines over and down. Or if I find the midpoint here, so I know that's the middle, I could just take this that I've already done, copy it from the middle, or I guess I got to go right here, and I could just copy it over to right there. And then I'm going to delete this little line since I don't need it anymore. I'm going to turn off my construction lines again and see what I got here. So it's looking pretty good. The only thing left is this. I have fillets and rounds, 1/8 inch radius. So that's all these little curves and corners. Like I have an 1/8 inch fillet here, an 1/8 inch round here. So all these little curves are 1/8 of an inch, and you use the fillet tool to do that. If I go back here, so there's a lot of them I got to do. So I'm going to do an F enter, R enter, set it to 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to zoom in here. We'll start with this view. I'm going to do the round, hit enter, and the fillet there. And actually, because I used the rectangle tool, did you see what happened there? It kind of deleted everything. Let's do that one more time. And go here. It's there. See how it's like deleting most of it? So what I'm going to do, since that's because I used the rectangle tool, I'm going to click this, and I'm going to click explode to break it up so it's no longer a rectangle. And hopefully now, see now it's all individual pieces. So if you use the rectangle tool, you may need to explode it first. Let's try that again. F enter, R enter, 1/8 of an inch. So it did delete that line again, but it didn't delete everything. So if that happens, you're just going to have to redraw this line in. And then I can also get rid of this line. I don't need it. Okay. F enter, R enter, make sure it's set to 1/8 of an inch. I got to do here. I got to do right here. Again, it deleted the line. Sometimes it does that for some random reason. I'm going to go just draw it in again. So this left side looks pretty good. That's what it should look like. You would do the same thing on the right side. If it deletes the line, you're going to have to redraw it in. Now, I'm assuming that the same thing's going to happen here because I used the rectangle tool. So I'm going to explode that. And let's do our fillet. 1/8 of an inch. We need to do the outside corners. The inside corner here. And if it deletes your line after you do the fillet, redraw this in. And let's do another fillet here. And we'll bring this across. Sometimes the fillet, it deletes too much. Let's go across. This should be hopefully the last one. You could even, since we already did it once, I could even just do the same thing. I could click this, copy it from the base point or the midpoint and copy it over, which would save me a little bit of time too. So I copy, let's see, I'll go from this midpoint to right there. That's another option too, so you don't have to keep redrawing the line. And then the last one, F enter, R enter, you're going to have a fillet here and here. And final time, let's see, let's draw this line in. So that's what your right side view will look like. Front view, obviously I got to redo this side, but it's the same as that. You could even mirror. I could do select this. I could do a mirror. Select my midpoint. Mirror that to the other side. Erase source object, no. And then I just have to trim this corner here. After the part is done, you're going to want to switch to your center layer. Let's do some center marks. I got a big center mark there, the holes here. Down here, you're going to use center line. You can click the hidden lines. And over here, you want to click the hidden lines as well. So we're using a mix of center mark and center line to get all the center lines on there. Then I would just go in, I would do all my dimensions. So it looks kind of like this. Don't forget to do fillets and rounds, 1/8 inch radius. That's just a text box. I click text. Make sure you're on dimension layer when you dimension. I'm going to do a text box. I'm going to put that actually down here. And I want to set the size to be 0.125. Hit enter. And then I can type in what I want. And then close text editor. So make sure you add that on. Double check your work. Make sure you have all the other dimensions on there. We can do a Q leader as well. Q leader. First point will be here is fine. I'm going to drag this out, click, go over this way, click, same thing, 0.125 for the size, and then I type in what I want it to say. Drill is the same thing as diameter, or you could use the diameter symbol if you want. Hit enter, then type in 2 holes, and then enter, enter. Close it off. I'm going to double click. So this is on 2 lines. Close it again. And when you're finished, it'll look something like this. And in the next video, I'll go over how to set up and start the isometric.